Hello, friends. My name is Steve. This is Steve Talks Books. Thank you for coming by and watching my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I won't get to, and everything else in between. If you'd like to connect with me, the best place is on our forum at pagedoing.com. It's where we get into all our bookish shenanigans and have lots of fun discussions. It's a great little community there. Lots of really friendly, welcoming people. Really positive place. So really thankful for those of you who have dropped by to visit. I can also be found on Vero at that one MFer. And I can also be found on Telegram at Steve Talks Books. So say hello if you are on Telegram. So let's start with what I was reading last week. Last week I was finishing up a couple of books. I was working on a couple and finishing a couple. But I did finish Babylon's Ashes. And last week I said I was going to be reading Nemesis games. And I've just been a complete mess lately. And I don't know. I don't know. It's been kind of bad, but I saw the wrong book. It's the next book in the Expanse series. I was a book behind, so sorry about that. But I looked back and I thought, I'm not reading Nemesis games. I already read that book, but I've been a mess. Anyway, I did finish Babylon's Ashes this week. I did finish it today. Today's Saturday. We're having our spoiler-filled discussion, so you're going to see this on Sunday, but the previous day we would have discussed Babylon's Ashes. I also finished A Game of Thrones. It's for our Song of Ice and Fire group read. And for as much as I knew what was going to happen, I mean, I've seen the TV show a few times already, so I pretty much know the major events that are going to happen. It was still enjoyable. It was still fun to see where the differences are. There's a few differences. The characters are a little different. So in that sense, I did enjoy the read. I'm glad I read it, even though I knew most of what was going to happen. It was a little different in the book, so it was different enough to keep me interested. And plus, it was just very well written. It was just, I mean, I kind of regret not reading the book before watching the show, but what are you going to do? I also did listen to a little bit of Come With Me. I'm almost done. I'm right at the finish line. I've just been chipping away at it. It's just been a crazy busy week with all the other reading I've had to do, so it's been just kind of chipping away at it. I want to be fresh when we do our discussion with Lady Jane Books, and my little thing here looks poking out. Not sure what's going on with that. But anyway, I also did finish 3 more chapters of The White Luck Warrior. And The White Luck Warrior, I mentioned last week, the first 3 chapters were kind of, things always happen in these books. There's always something that's going on. There's always something that's happening. So it's not that there was nothing happening. It just felt kind of like we weren't moving along too much. But these last 3 chapters, I enjoyed quite a bit. I think they were a lot of fun. A few pretty major revelations. And there's a few things that were kind of like, okay, let's move on from this. But overall, enjoyed the last 3 chapters quite a bit. So I'm glad, because I was a little bit worried after the first 3. But I mean, you can't doubt Baker. He's Baker. So good stuff. So this week I will continue to read The White Luck Warrior. We're reading the next 3 chapters, and it's a little over 100 pages total. We're doing a little bit more than we usually do, which is good and also bad. It's good because I enjoy the books. It's all just kind of bad because there's a lot of other things I have to read this month. It's been kind of insane, really, really bad timing for me. Really bad month, really bad time to have lots of books to get through, but thankfully we're making it through. I will also be reading From Hell by Alan Moore. And I did go to a local comic book shop trying to buy it. I couldn't find it, so I thought I guess I'll just order it on Amazon. I was trying to support, local businesses, but couldn't find it. And on Amazon, I realized that it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So I think I might just read that digitally. I didn't even think to check that. So interesting. I'll also be starting Midnight Tides. It's the next book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. We are discussing that. We're discussing book 1 next weekend. And on the channel last week, I had more reading sprints, and I have to say, lately my mind has been wandering when I've been reading. Like I start thinking about other things, and you read, but then you look back at what you read, and you have no idea what just happened. You just your eyes are just going over the words, and you don't really absorb anything. So these reading sprints have really been helping. First of all, it's been helping me focus because we're here doing it together. And also it's been so much fun talking with all of you. And we have some people who try and make it every time. And, we talk about what they're reading, and I don't know, it's just been a lot of fun. So if you've been dropping by for that, thanks so much for doing that. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been just what I needed. Also, I want to mention one of our friends, Brian B. He drops by the channel and says hello on live streams and things and comments. But his wife had their son this week, their second son, and he was at the hospital commenting on one of the video during a reading sprint. So congratulations to Brian, him and his family. Thankfully, everyone's safe and healthy. So just wanted to say congratulations to him. That was really cool to be a part of that, and it's something that you'll never forget for good, for bad or for good. But congrats to Brian and his family for their second son. So glad to hear everybody's doing good. We also had the 11th cycle non-spoiler discussion with Keon and Chris Moen, and we did go all non-spoilers for that. There is something at the very end that I added in. The night before was the night that I was out with friends, and we were out a little late, and I usually don't drink a whole lot of beer or have a whole lot of sugar, and that night I was at a restaurant, and I had ice cream and brownies, this really sweet, it was like a bowl of sugar, and I don't eat sugar that often. So the next day I had like a headache and it just didn't really feel very well. So it was like a blooper that I just added in to the very end because it's kind of I was a little groggy that morning. So that's the context for that blooper. If you've seen it, that's where that came from. So if you've seen it, if you know, you know. But one of those things. So also this week I did have reading sprints. We had the 11th cycle discussion. Also we did have the Friday conversation returned after the week off, with A.R. Witham, J.C.M. Byrne, Chris Moen. We also had Taylor from Maybe Between the Pages drop by, and also our friend Joseph Carroll. That was, oh man, that was so much fun. It's funny. I think it was earlier in the day. I had a message from A.R., like a question that was like, hey, are we drinking tonight? Like, are we going to celebrate and like drink something? I was like, sure. So then 10 minutes before we got on, I had just finished the Baker podcast with Daniel and Katerina. That also posted on Friday. And so I went and got a little something to drink, and we had just a really fun time. It's just what I needed. I really, it just came at the right time for me. It was perfect. It was just what I needed. Just a fun, just laugh and have a good time. If you haven't seen it, we talked about beards. I'll talk more about that in a second. We talked about beards. We talked about Amazon ads. We talked about reviews. We talked about why we enjoy dark stories, and I want to mention that again later as well. We talked about a lot of. We went through, as usual, a ton of different topics. We talked about Star Wars. We talked about the DCU, Superman, about Warner Brothers, that they're not very good. We talked, horror movies. We went on and on. We usually try to shoot for about 2 hours, and before we knew it, we were at almost 3. So the time just flew by. I had a great time, lots and lots of fun, lots and lots of laughs. So if you haven't seen it, it was a really fun one. And I did make a mistake on the podcast. I did. So I had some whiskey during the stream. I was, had a couple of sips, and after I upload it to the podcast every Friday, and I forgot to press publish. So that was my fault. So if you were trying to download the podcast, it is available now. That was my mistake. I just forgot to hit that publish button. So it is available now. Also this week, we will be having more reading sprints. I may have another video out, not quite sure. But I do have the reading sprints. And then on Wednesday, we were talking the Sword of Mercy and Wrath. We'll be discussing that one on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will also be having a Friday conversation this week. I'm just not sure who yet. I need to organize that. That'll all come together this week. So good stuff. Yeah. So good times. So I did mention a couple of times these last few weeks about a new channel, and I'm debating when to start it. I did get the artwork done for it. I found an artist who I thought would fit perfectly. And I've had a lot of bad luck with artists. This artist just knocked it out of the park. I mentioned what I was looking for, and she just whipped it out. It was better than what I had in my head. I don't know. Artists are talented people. I'm not one of them. So kudos to them. If you're one of those people, I'm a little jealous because I just explained these are the kind of ideas I have, and she made it better than what I ever would have expected it to be. So I'm really, really excited. I just don't know. I don't want to start it and then not have content. That's my thing. I don't want to start it. So we may have something on Monday, but I will let everyone know. I don't want to do a last minute thing, so it's up in the air, but I'll be sure and let everyone know. And I do have 9 subscribers already, but yeah. So, but that's coming soon, very soon. I'm really excited about that too. So my question for all of you this week is why something that we talked about on the Friday conversation. We talked about why we enjoy dark stories. Why do you enjoy reading stories about people that, people that really bad things happen to them, really cruel and dark worlds, really, these people who suffer? What's the appeal? And I think some of it ties into like the grimdark thing. Some of it ties into horror, kind of just in general, kind of overlapping both genres. Why do you enjoy seeing people struggle? Why do you enjoy those stories? We had some really fun, about, 10-minute conversation about it on the Friday conversation. But my answer was, and this is something I thought about, is I enjoy seeing people persevere. I enjoy seeing people being redeemed, or seeing people in complete darkness, and they find a way to crawl out of it. They find a way to climb over that mountain, to reach out into the sunlight, to put their hands through the darkness and pull themselves up with their last ounce of energy, just that last little bit, and to see them survive, or to see them change in some way, or to learn from it all, or to do something. I like seeing people. I like hearing those stories that you suffer so much that you learn, and then you come out of it. Like you win somehow. You get out of it yourself. And I think part of the reason why I like stories that raise the stakes. There's some stories that you see what's going to happen if this person fails. What could happen to them, and it could be something really horrible. And when you set the mark a certain horrible level, then it raises the tension. It raises it puts that fear in you of, I really don't want that to happen to this character. So I think raising the stakes, knowing what can happen if they fail, how they could suffer, how they could, or worse, I think that adds to it. And of course, there's always people who create stories who go overboard, who go for shock value, and that's not what I'm talking about. There's some stories that are intentionally there to shock you, and there's not really a purpose other than just for you to like want to close your eyes and not look. That's not what I'm talking about. Stories that have these elements in them that serve the story, that have a purpose, that aren't just there to shock you into, for you to walk away appalled. So that's my answer to that question. But let me know down below what you think about that. If you do enjoy dark stories, let me know why. And if you don't enjoy dark stories, let me know that too. Of course, there's no wrong answer. Everyone's different. Everyone has different tastes. So I'm curious to hear what all of you have to say. I think it's an interesting topic to explore. So looking forward to reading all of your answers. So this last week, I also had my birthday. My birthday was on Wednesday, and I took the day off. The night before, I went out and I had a double green chili cheeseburger from this place called Rex's Burgers. It's won awards. It's always like the best in the city. These burgers, it's a little hole in the wall. It's like you could drive past it, you never even know it's there. So I had a burger with onion rings that night, and that's another thing I don't eat very often is carbs. It was worth it. It was worth every bite. I don't get it too often, so it was so good. I just want to tear up just thinking about it. Then the next day, the forecast called for heavy winds, so I went out earlier than I normally would have, and I went for a bike ride, and it was just, the temperature was perfect. I felt really good. I was pedaling up things, like climbs that I normally don't make it up. I usually walk. I mean, I just felt really, really good. You get like what some people refer to as a runner's high. That's what I had that day. I just felt like I couldn't be stopped, kind of thing. And there was some great scenery. I mean, sometimes I get onto these, getting out onto nature and getting out into these places. There's just some places that you go, you just feel like they're calling you. Like when you get there, it feels like they wrap your arms around you. Like something is there with their hand on your back, like kind of supporting you, or kind of, I don't know, lifting you up somehow, or like raising your spirits. It's almost like a spiritual thing. And I don't want to sound corny or anything. It's just, it's this weird feeling that you connect with something. It's not just being in nature. It's something more than that. And it doesn't happen all the time. To certain times in life, certain periods of times in life, I've felt that way. Like there's something here with me. Like there's something here rooting for me. I just felt like like something's calling me to go. And when I'm there, it feels like they're like, they're pushing me from, they're kind of like giving me a hand. So I don't know. It's this weird feeling, but I had like that. I had a really great ride. Then I came home right when I was finishing my ride. The wind was picking up, so I just made it. It was perfect. Just when I was on my last descent, the wind was picking up, and I was out of there right when it started getting bad. I mean, it worked out perfect. Came home and I had some more food I shouldn't be eating, some chili cheese fries and some taco burgers from a local place here in Albuquerque, and it was so good. It was worth it. And then so we sat and watched Interstellar, one of my favorite movies. I catch something new in that movie every time I watch it, and it always gets me a little bit. That movie always gets me. I don't know. So anyway, part of the reason I'm bringing that up is because I did receive a couple of packages. Also, I want to say thank you to all of you who wished me a happy birthday. It means a lot to me. It's not an empty gesture. On the forum, I had a bunch of people saying happy birthday. I don't know. It was really nice, really sweet. It meant a lot to me. Everyone on the streams, on the reading sprints, and the comments. I mean, thank you all for the well wishes. It means a lot to me. It's very, very thoughtful, and it's not wasted on me. I don't take any of that for granted. I mean, just a happy birthday means a lot. I mean, it means a lot to me. So thank you, all of you, for that. It is very touching. I also did have a couple of packages I wanted to share. I did get a couple of things, so I wanted to acknowledge those things. I did have this package arrive, and it was hard not to open it. So I will open it now and hopefully not make too much noise. But let me see if there's, before I get into it. So happy birthday, Steve. I hope you enjoy your gift from Stacy J. So our friend Stacy from Stacy's All Booked was nice enough to send me something. This was on my wish list. It is Berserker Volume 1. Cool. I'm excited. Thank you, Stacy. This is very thoughtful. I've been wanting to read this one, and thank you so much for doing that. It means a lot to me. So thank you for doing that. I'm looking forward to reading it. It's on my TBR, on my graphic novel TBR for this year. So thank you, Stacy. Thank you and your family for doing that. Also, I had a letter, and so I had a letter with this in it. It's a homemade birthday card. I thought that was so cool, and it includes a bookmark, just one more chapter. How cool is that? I love like homemade things, like things that people just put together. I don't know. There's something really neat about it, but it has a little clip on it to put on your book, I'm assuming. So that's really, really sweet, and be happy. So this is from our friend Dolores. So thank you, Dolores Lima on YouTube. Of course, I won't say the name that's on the card is just Dolores on YouTube. But happy birthday. I'm excited to have found your YouTube channel. Looking forward to reading a book with you and the group. Have an amazing birthday. All the best. Dolores Lima. Thank you so much, Dolores. That's so sweet of you to do that. It's very touching to me. So thank you so much to take the time to put something like this together. That's really, really cool. Thank you so much. Like I said, it just means the world to me. So thank you for doing that. It's very thoughtful, very, very kind and thoughtful, and kind of, I don't know, this community is just, I don't know, something else. When it seems like when you're going through hard times, and everyone kind of comes and is there to support you. So many great people. I did mention earlier about the beers. I'm trying to grow this out, and I'm at the point where I always shave it because I feel really awkward, but this time I'm just going to let it go and see what happens. So we'll see what happens with that. So if I look ridiculous, hopefully it won't last too long. So enough about me. A lot about me, but enough about me. How are you doing? What are you reading, watching, or listening to? Let me know down below what you've been up to. How was your week? What do you have planned for this week? What do you have planned in the future? Let me know what you're reading, if you're enjoying it, if if you're having a good week, or if you're having if your new year is treating you really well. Let me know how all your resolutions are going too. How's your TBR? Let me know everything. I want to know everything. I love the interaction. So thanks to all of you for everything. Thank you for your support, for your friendship, for watching, for commenting, for thumbs up, all that stuff. It means a lot to me, and I will let everyone know when we get closer to that second channel, when it's ready to go. But I'm excited about it. So hope you all have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.